finally did it. We finally made a chemistry kit. Specifically, a kit for the BZ reaction, which stands for Belousov-Zhabotinsky. And it's, I mean, look right here. It's one of the weirdest chemical reactions. It was actually, I mean, it was a reaction I did back in, I think, 2018. And before that, I mean, I honestly had a hard time believing it was even a real reaction because it was just, I mean, it was just so odd. But I was successfully able to do it in 2018. And I mean, ever since then, I've always wanted to be able to turn it into a kit so that other people could do it. Especially because over the years, I've gotten a lot of emails from people who've tried doing it themselves. And I mean, it's just a really finicky reaction. And I have a lot to say about that. But I think first we should just open it up. And before I do that though, I should say everything in this entire kit is subject to change. So the words, the pictures, everything can change. I just want to give that disclaimer. So when we open it up, the first thing we see are the instructions. My favorite step is the last one, which is just simply observe. But I mean, there are a lot of steps. There's a good 14 steps to follow, but it's not too daunting. So I'll just keep looking through it. Here we have some gloves. So every kit will come with some gloves. And also a little stand. One thing I should say though is that this little one, we have it in here right now because it fits, but it's kind of useless and I don't know. I think I had way too high hopes for it.
You mean it doesn't hold up a phone?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not going to be able to work for what we need it. So I'll get rid of it and we'll replace it temporarily with this much bigger one. And then we can open up, I guess this one's a good one. And I think the picture on this we're going to change. This was just a temporary thing. These are all the chemicals that will come with the kit. And our goal with the final version is that the reaction, there's enough chemicals here to do the reaction up to 8 times. We want to have it enough that you can do it as many times as you want, but also you have some room to mess up. So I'll put the chemicals there, and then the last box has all this stuff in it. It's all the tools to do it, the chemistry gear. So here we have a nice glass dish, and here we have an Erlenmeyer flask, which in the final version will actually be branded properly, not with just a little sticker. You just put that to the side for now. And then here we have a bunch of syringes, which you can see are, I mean, it's just part of the whole procedure. And then it'll come with a pair of safety goggles as well, because obviously that's like, I mean, good to wear when you're using chemicals. And then we have a stopper for this. And this final thing, I mean, it's just a spoon. This is actually a relic of an old design we had where we weren't using syringes and we were using a spoon to manually measure things. But we found that that was just like really not consistent and repeatable. I should also say that I feel like I've been saying we a lot in this whole, unboxing. But by we, I just mean my brother, who's been really heavily involved in putting this all together. And, we've been working together on the testing and everything. Also, all this wouldn't have been possible without VSauce and Ink Factory. They are the ones who have basically, more or less turned it into a kit. They've made this functionally possible. But yeah, so, okay, I'll just put this to the side for now. And the last thing that I'll pull out is this little placemat. This is actually meant to come in the kit, but right now we're having a little trouble sourcing like a good silicone mat. So for now we're just using a placemat. But with that being said, I guess I'll just start tearing it open. And up until now, I've done this reaction 8 billion times testing it, but I haven't actually done this version of the kit. And there's also a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about while I do it. But either way, get my safety goggles on. Okay, then I'll open up the gloves. Okay. So the first step, we have all the chemicals here, but again, this is enough for a few runs. So I'll just take out what we need for this one. So we have the sulfuric acid and the sodium bromate. Oh, I need this little red cap. And then the next bag has the other ingredients, which is malonic acid, sodium bromide, and ferroin. These ones don't have repeat bottles because you don't need to use nearly as much. So the first step is to mix the sulfuric acid with the sodium bromate. And to do that, it's pretty simple. Just open up the sulfuric acid, and then we crack open the sodium bromate, and we just shoot it all in. So you can see it comes out as like a little, this little dropper. I'll just blast it in. Oh no. Okay, just make sure it's all in. Okay, that's good. So the sulfuric acid's all loaded, and now we can do this. And we use a different cap now. See the small detail?
Red cap.
Yeah, it means they're mixed, and we should be able to unpeel the sticker. No! I'm going the other way. Okay, you gotta go slow. Okay. Oh no! Okay, well, another note to add to the pile. Here we have the mixture now, which is the sodium bromate with the sulfuric acid. And we just gotta mix it. Just gotta make sure it's like fully dissolved. I think that's probably good. Okay, we have our first solution. Now we can start mixing things, where these are our 4 main things we need to mix together in specific amounts. And yeah, it has to be pretty specific. If you're off, it should still kind of work, but it really messes things up if if you completely screw up. Which is why we have these syringes to measure everything, to be accurate. We also need this flask, which it's a little bit dusty, but yes, either way. The first thing is to measure out 7 mils of the solution that we just made. So the mixture of the sulfuric acid and the sodium bromate. And to do that, we're just gonna use this big syringe, which I should say this is not the final syringe. And these are not the final syringes that'll be in the kit. These are just, temporary little test syringes. And case in point, we're actually missing a piece. We need this. At least for this version. So we can actually suck stuff out of this bottle. So we just shove this in. Not the greatest. Let's go, 7 mils. Uh-oh. Okay, that's about 7 mils. So we'll shoot it in here. Okay, so we've loaded that up. That's good. Now, the next thing we need to do is 1 mil of malonic acid. So we'll get the malonic. Shove this in, and we'll do 1 full syringe. Okay. It's 1 mil. That's good. I'll just mix it quickly. Okay, so we still got a nice clear solution. But that will change when we add the next one, which is the sodium bromide. We'll do 0.5. That's good. And now, though, we should get a color change if things are working. Woo!
It's a good sign.
Yeah, so quickly I'll just mix it. And this is, you can see here, it's generating a nasty orange vapor. That's all bromine. So you don't really want to breathe that. And, so for this kit, that's why we're doing it in the flask. And it comes with this stopper to block it. The idea now is we just have to wait. And it takes about, here it says, 5 minutes until the liquid is transparent. And you don't touch it while it's happening.
All right.
You can just leave it there.
How are we looking here? Wait,
I have no idea how long it's been, but on pure vibes, I think it's been 5 minutes. So what we can do now is move on to step 10, where we get this dish and we dump everything. Okay, nice and clear solution. Okay, and now we need 1 mil of the Ferroin. So that's this beautiful red liquid, which has actually been one of the most annoying parts of the reaction to get right, because Ferroin goes bad and it's hard to find a good source of it. And sometimes even you find sources and they just don't work. For whatever reason, the best Ferroin I feel like we've had is the stuff that I made using really old chemicals that I bought off eBay like 7 years ago. Step 11, just gotta shoot it in. Okay, that looks good, looking good. And we just gotta mix it quickly. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, we want it to turn blue, and then it should reset, okay. And I like to keep mixing until it really just stays one color. I think we're about there. I feel like mixing extra never hurts. And you let it stop. Oh, it's already kind of starting.
Whoa.
It looks pretty cool.
Step 14.
Observe. You're right, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I mean, that looks really cool. But what I should say is what's really weird about all of this is that initially we were trying to do it in a plastic dish just because they're easier to work with. We can give a bunch of extras. They're more reliable in terms of like durability, but getting it to have a good reaction like this was tough. It just wouldn't I don't know why. You see here, if you look close, it's nucleating in the middle. It has stuff everywhere. Whereas on the plastic, it seemed to only go from the edges.
This is very cool.
I really should have been filming this the whole time. Okay, then I'll just record. I guess one thing I want to say too is like, when you get the conditions right, it works every time exactly how you want. But like the moment you change the little details, I find that it kind of explodes. Or you don't get the pattern you want. It does like weird stuff. Like that's actually what this pattern here on the box is, which I also think are cool, which is why we put it on the box. But I am a fan of the original kind of bullseye looking reaction. What's also cool is that, I mean, it's been going on for a while now. You got the bubbles. It's kind of just what happens with the reaction. But what is cool is if you mix it, again, it turns blue. You want to go back to the red. Okay, I feel like I've mixed it enough. It should reset. It becomes a little bit bubblier. And that's actually something I should say. We tried to get rid of the bubbles by using, you see this one, like with Triton. So that's a surfactant that we started trying to add, which is here. It's kind of just like this soapy goo. And it did basically get rid of the bubbles. But I don't know, it messes up the visuals, in my opinion. So yeah, we ultimately decided to get rid of it. The downside is that, you know, you do get a little bubbling, you know, but I think that those sheer visuals are what's, you know, most important.
Yeah. So what do you think of the prototype then?
I think it's really good. Like, I think that all the little changes we've made have really come together to make a kit that is much more seamless than the earlier versions. It's something that, you know, I've always wanted to do, and the final result was exactly what, you know, I envisioned. But it still is so shocking how many little tiny details there are that you would just never think of. Either way, that's about it. That was the first run of the basically final version of the BZ reaction kit by NileRed. We don't have a concrete delivery date. It would be insane if it actually landed by the end of this year. I think the more realistic timeline we're looking at is more like early 2026. So yeah, if you pre-order now, then yeah, hopefully in early 2026, you will be able to do this and take your own video. I mean, I guess that's it, right?